Hello, DJ here from ExoticPest23. In this next video we're going to be doing is on the Coenobita clypedes, which is the Caribbean hermit crab, which is also known as the purple pincher hermit crab. A lot of pet stores carry this species, and they're quite common. So 9 times out of 10 you go to a pet store, this will be the species you have. So let's take a look at what we got here. I own 2 specimens, and this is their enclosure. I just took the water dish out because it needs to be filled up again. Now I got a mist in there. So let's get into some details about what's going on here. Like I said, I have 2 in here. This is I think this is a small enclosure, so it's big enough for the 2 because they're pretty small. But I'm eventually gonna move them up. So maybe like the next week or 2, I'm gonna move up to something bigger. I have 2 shells in there. That's pretty good for 2 of them because how it works is if one changes the shell and the other one likes the other shell, he'll change into that, and then so on and so forth, and there can be like a swapping of shells and blah blah blah. So once they get bigger, of course I'll have to put bigger shells in there. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with the basic care of a hermit crab, which is you provide food, water, and a shell and something to climb on, blah blah blah. So let me tell you the faults of these things. That's nowhere near the basics. I mean, these guys require a lot of care actually, because contrary to belief, these guys are not captive bred at all. These guys are always wild caught, and that's pretty sad because these guys are taken from their habitat in the wild and put into uninhabitable conditions because people think this basic setup is okay. So it's usually what you will find in these guys is some gravel and a little tiny piece of cholla wood, which would be like this stuff right here, but maybe like about that much of it, and just enough so they can walk on top of it, and a little like this double shell thing here. Usually one side's food, one side's water. Well, to tell you what's wrong with that is these guys come from the Caribbean, and in the Caribbean it's obviously a tropical environment, but these guys don't live on the beach. They only go to the beach to breed, and that's when they return to the water. Like my video before this one, the Halloween crab, they only go to the waters to breed. So like they lay their eggs in the water, and that's why they can't be captive bred. So they actually live towards the forest side of the beach, which is just not a forest, but where the trees start to grow and stuff, and the substrate is actually pretty like the eco earth, which is the coconut fiber. So these guys are a burrowing species. So it's like the gravel, they can't burrow in it. It's not really good for them because it's usually colored and has flakes on it. And if they fall off, the hermit crabs will try to eat it, and it's just, they'll get sick and then they'll die. So, and it's like I said, it's not like their natural habitat, which they're taken from. So that's another thing, they're not used to that. They can get sick from it, and then it's stressful, and they'll die from being stressed out. They have molting complications and so on and so forth. But we'll get into all that soon enough. So what I start off with when I get these guys is I put a background in. This is a coconut fiber background. It's like got these little tiny fibers on it, and they can climb on it really well and get the exercise that they need. Next, I filled it up a little bit less than halfway. Excuse me, with eco earth. And the reason I did this is because these guys are burrowing species, and these guys love to tunnel. So I can't show you right now, but these guys have all kinds of crazy tunnels going on underneath the substrate, and they like that because it's really humid under there, and it's cooler than the top part if they get too hot. But then the majority of the time they do stay under the ground anyway, just because they feel safer there. I'm gonna go ahead and take this out, which is their food. Here's one of them right there. He's just kind of halfway in there. He just kind of chills there a lot. But that's how they stay happy. Then I put this large cholla wood part in there, and I dug it down there so they can climb up to the top. And because they usually like to climb in the little great parts of the critter keeper, and because these guys love to climb. Excuse me again. That's what they do. So they also go underground because of the humidity, so they can molt. It helps with their molting. And in captivity, when these guys have the gravel, they can't go underground because it's not humid enough, and they'll have molting complications, and they'll just die. So it's just all around much better for them to have the eco earth substrate and make sure you're missing it a lot. And I'm gonna miss this guy right now because haven't done it in like a day or so, and I usually do it every other day. And these guys, I do it really good because with their tunneling, once the eco earth compacts, it makes it much easier for them to hold the tunnels up, so they don't have to worry about keep building it and blah blah blah. That should be good. So I got a little bit of water in the shell. That's an issue. Let's get that out of there. So yeah, let's go into shell changing. These guys will shell change as they feel they want to. It's not like a time thing when they need the mold, whatever. No, they just do it whenever they feel like it. And the rule is, as long as they can fit their purple pincher or their pincher for whatever species inside the front of it, they will get inside of it, and that's fine for them. So that's just what they like. And like I said, one shell change can trigger another shell change. And I don't recommend keeping one at a time because that can also be a little bit stressful for them because, like I said, they come from the Caribbean and they live in colonies of hundreds of them at a time. So it's best to house at least 2 or more. So when I get a bigger cage, I'm gonna put like maybe another 1 or 2 in there because they love to have the interaction with other crabs. So I'm just get one out right now. So this will be on handling them. As you can see, these guys are really easy to handle. He's just trying to crawl. Let him get on his way here. It's pretty much like you just pick them up very gently, non-threatening, by the back of their shell. You gotta kind of watch these guys because they can get themselves into trouble if you let them crawl around too long and not pay attention to them, because they're actually kind of a little quick for their size. So yeah, this is Mr. Krabs. Mrs. Krabs is on the substrate right now, so she's just hiding. Like, I don't know if they're male or female. I just humored myself by naming one Mr. and one Mrs. So feeding, I feed them the hermit crab pellets, and I do that every other day. I'll change it, and you mist it a little bit when you put it in there, so it makes it moist, so they can smell it, and they are attracted to it more, and then they'll start to eat it. And I fill their water dish up all the way so they can get in the water, because they also have gills as well. They have gills that they need to wet so they can keep breathing, and also the humidity also helps, so they don't always have to be in the water, and so they can just breathe in the humidity, and it keeps their gills moist, and then they're fine. So you can see this guy starting to climb on this little critter keeper thingy, the top of it. So other than that, I mean, like I said, these guys, I keep a thermometer in there. It tells me the optimum temperature for the humidity and the and the temperature. And the humidity, the temperature, the optimum for temperature is between 70 and 80. Optimum humidity is 70 to 85. So if you can keep it between there, they'll be perfectly fine. And then, like I said, keep plenty of substrate so they can burrow. This guy is on his way. He's climbing away. So I'm just gonna grab him here. Whoop. Drop him back in his cage. And he retreated back into his shell, but they usually come right back out. And they're actually pretty intelligent. They grow to learn that you're not a threat, and they won't be as quick to withdraw into the shell when you go to handle them. So when I first got this guy, he would always stay in his shell. This one in particular, he would never come out. But now I can handle him. I don't handle him just because I choose not to, but I can do whatever, and he doesn't usually retreat away because they learn. So I hope this helped in some way for you guys, and that's pretty much all the info I got on them. And this is how I take care of them, and then they seem to do perfectly fine like this. So that will conclude the second series of arachnids, which would be the land crabs, because those are the only land crabs that I have. So look forward to the scorpion videos that are coming next. So this guy's, as you can see, he's climbing pretty quick. He's on his way out already. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video, and I'll see you guys later.